Hey there, Silver Recaps here. Watch out. The story begins with Sophia, who is playing in the final match of her ice hockey game. Her parents Santo and Ingrid are present in the stands watching her play. Sophia leads her team to victory. After the game, she heads outside and meets her boyfriend Hakeem, while her parents watch from a distance. Sophia then approaches her father and reminds him of his promise. If she wins the match, he will teach her how to drive. Santo agrees, and they head home. Santo was not a very social person. For him, his family was everything. His past was a secret, known only to him. Keeping his promise, he starts teaching Sophia how to drive. He takes her on forest roads, helping her master off-road driving. After a while, they stop at a secluded spot, sitting together and reminiscing about the past. As the sun begins to set, they prepare to leave. Sophia, wanting to make the moment memorable, suggests taking a selfie. Santo refuses and insists they leave immediately. He doesn't want a photo that could bring trouble. Back at the car, Santo fixes the side mirror, which had broken earlier. Meanwhile, Sophia secretly snaps a picture of him and uploads it to her social media story. Unbeknownst to her, this small mistake exposes their location. Soon after, Santo's old enemies track him down. Their leader, Don Angelo, orders 2 assassins to kill Santo and his family. Santo had always stayed off social media, living a hidden life to avoid detection. But now, everything was in danger, and he had no idea. Later, while Santo is at work, a machine malfunctions. He tells his work partner to head home and pick up Sophia from school on the way. His partner does as told and brings Sophia home. Sophia goes upstairs to do laundry, while Ingrid greets Santo's friend and goes to make him coffee. Suddenly, 2 armed men break into the house. They are wearing cameras on their heads, recording everything. Spotting Ingrid, they immediately attack her. Santo's friend rushes in to save her, but is also overpowered. Within moments, they are both brutally murdered. Hearing the noise, Sophia comes downstairs, only to witness her mother's lifeless body. One of the assassins notices her and begins chasing her. Realizing the danger, Sophia runs for her life. The killers are determined to finish the job and go after her, hunting her down at any cost. As night falls, Santo arrives home. He immediately notices the front doors open and finds his friend murdered. Rushing inside, he sees Ingrid lying motionless. Desperate, he holds her, hoping she is still alive. But it's too late. Just then, Sophia appears. Without wasting a second, Santo tells her they must leave immediately. He forcefully takes her away, knowing that staying there is no longer safe. He leads her to an abandoned hideout, a place he had planned as a backup in case of such an emergency. Meanwhile, the assassin, Rudy, contacts Don Angelo and reports, "I killed him, but the girl got away." Don Angelo orders him to return. At the hideout, Santo cuts his hair to avoid recognition. He opens a hidden locker containing money, a phone, and a book. Sophia, still in shock, demands answers. Who are these people? Why did they kill Mom? Realizing there is no more hiding, Santo reveals the truth. "I was born into a mafia family. Our job was to kill and destroy people's lives. The rule was simple: kill or be killed, but never walk away from this life." He then explains, "After I met your mother, I left everything behind. I chose to live a normal, peaceful life, but they never stopped hunting." He finally tells Sophia his real name, Domenico. Sophia slowly begins to understand the gravity of the situation. She realizes that the photos she took was the reason they are in danger. Meanwhile, Rudy shows Don Angelo the video of their attack. After watching it, Angelo furiously declares, "That's not Santo. Find him and finish him. If he stays alive, he'll kill us all." Back at the hideout, Santo gathers his supplies and prepares to leave for revenge. Before leaving, he hands Sophia a phone and instructs her, "Call only in an emergency." Then he disappears into the night. Time passes, and Sophia stares at the phone, debating whether to call him. Instead, she calls Hakeem and tells him everything, including their location. Unfortunately, Don Angelo's men also track her whereabouts. Hakeem rushes out of his house to reach Sophia. Soon, he arrives at the hideout, and the two reunite. Hakeem takes Sophia through the forest route to escape. As they reach the road, a car crosses their path. It's the assassin. Without hesitation, the killer begins chasing them. Meanwhile, Santo returns to the hideout, only to find Sophia missing. Realizing she's in danger, he immediately sets out to find her. Back on the road, the assassin mercilessly kills Hakeem and captures Sophia. He binds her hands and mouth before forcing her into his car and speeding away. Just then, Santo arrives at the scene. Seeing the situation, he launches a brutal attack on the killer. A fierce fight breaks out. Santo gets stabbed and is badly wounded, but he doesn't stop. During the struggle, Sofia manages to escape from the car. Seizing the moment, she strikes the assassin from behind. This distraction allows Santo to overpower him, and in the end, he finishes the job, shooting the assassin dead. Elsewhere, Don Angelo and his son, Michael, discuss the situation. Michael tries to convince his father to move on, saying, "There's nothing left in these old rivalries. We should look ahead." But Angelo, enraged, replies, "Santo killed the wrong son. 20 years ago, Santo had murdered Angelo's eldest son, and ever since, Angelo had been waiting for revenge." Meanwhile, Santo and Sofia search for a secluded place to hide. Santo is losing too much blood and can barely drive. They finally stop at an isolated spot. While Santo cleans his wound, Sofia goes to a nearby store to get medical supplies. At the store, she sees breaking news on TV. Her father and she are now wanted fugitives. She rushes back and hands the supplies to Santo, who cleans his wounds and steps outside. This time, Sofia takes the wheel, following Santo's direction. After traveling through the night, they stop and switch cars, stealing a vehicle before heading toward Milan, the city where Don Angelo resides. On the other side, Angelo turns to Dr. Ferrario for help. Ferrario, a high-ranking officer in the cyber department, agrees to track Santo down. The police are now actively searching for them, and news of Santo and Sofia floods every channel. Santo and Sofia reach a hidden house, an abandoned place that hadn't been used for years. Santo enters, but his condition worsens. His wound has become severe and he collapses unconscious. Panicked, Sofia rushes out with some money, determined to find medical help. She reaches a store and pleads for assistance, but the people refuse. Desperate, she offers them money, and they finally agree. Doctors arrive and begin treating Santo. As he drifts in and out of consciousness, memories of Ingrid and Sofia's birth flood his mind. A while later, Santo regains consciousness. He looks at Sofia and apologizes for everything that has happened. By now, Sofia has begun to understand her father better. Santo tells her, "We need to leave." Meanwhile, Ferrario tracks down their location and informs Rudy. Soon, Rudy and his men arrive at the hideout, but by then, Santo and Sofia have already escaped. Ferrario provides Rudy with their updated location, and his team heads there. Upon arrival, Rudy and his partner kill an employee and storm inside. At the same time, Sofia hotwires a car using the technique Santo had taught her. Rudy searches for Santo inside the building. As soon as he spots him, he opens fire. A chase begins, leading to a brutal fight between the two. During the fight, Rudy taunts, "I'll kill you the same way I killed your wife." Just then, Sofia arrives at the scene. The assassin notices her and orders her to raise her hands. But before he can react, the sound of a gunshot echoes. Santo shoots and kills him. Before anyone else can track them, they escape once again. They stop at a remote location where Santo builds a bomb. He also trains Sofia on how to protect herself in extreme situations. Time passes, and they form a plan to kidnap Michael, Don Angelo's son. The next day, Sofia goes to Michael's office. The place is heavily guarded, so she discreetly clicks photos of the security team. As she does this, a guard approaches and orders her to leave. Meanwhile, Santo takes advantage of the distraction. He sits in a parked car, waiting. When the driver enters, Santo holds him at gunpoint and orders him to drive inside. Once inside, Santo stealthily makes his way toward Michael's office. At the same time, Sofia plants a bomb inside a trash can to create a diversion. Everything is going according to plan. Santo grabs Michael at gunpoint and starts leading him out. However, two guards chase after them. Sofia starts the car but finds a guard blocking her way. Without hesitation, she runs him over. A gunfight breaks out between Santo and the remaining guards. Just in time, Sofia arrives with the car. Following Santo's instructions, she helps him secure Michael, and they escape. Santo takes a photo of Michael and sends it to Don Angelo. He then turns to Sofia and says, "This will all be over soon. Then, we'll leave this place for good." To ensure Angelo takes the bait, Santo takes Michael's phone and drives away, forcing Angelo to send his men after them. Now, it was time to end everything once and for all. Now, we see Don Angelo, who has just learned that Santo has kidnapped his son, Michael. Santo sends him a message, making his terms clear. "Turn yourself into me, or I will make sure there's nothing left of your son's body." He adds another demand. "Tomorrow, every politician and officer working with you must be exposed on live television. If you do this, you'll know exactly where to collect Michael." Realizing the gravity of the situation, Angelo once again turns to Ferrario to track Santo's location. He orders Rudy, "Don't return without his corpse." Rudy, along with a team of highly trained and professional killers, men who once worked with Santo, sets out to hunt him down. As they track his location, they spot the van where Michael is supposedly being held. Approaching cautiously, they check inside, but the doors are locked. Just then, from a distance, Santo fires a shot, taking down one of the assassins. The rest of the team immediately becomes alert. However, this was Santo's territory. He had chosen the battlefield carefully. Using his experience and strategy, he eliminates them one by one. Once all of Angelo's men are dead, only Rudy remains. A fierce fight breaks out between them. Santo outmaneuvers him, trapping him before delivering multiple knife strikes, killing him in the exact same way Rudy had murdered his wife. With his enemies wiped out, Santo now sets his sights on his final target, Don Angelo. Meanwhile, Michael asks Sofia for water. As she hands it to him, she asks, "Did you really have no idea that your father was a mafia boss?" Michael smirks, replying, "Did you know who your father really was?" This response leaves Sofia momentarily shaken. Michael then begins manipulating her psychologically, attempting to weaken her mentally so she will release him. Just then, her phone rings. It's Santo. His voice is tense. "Everything went wrong, son. I'm sorry." There's a brief silence before he continues. "I'm going to Angelo's house to kill him." As soon as Santo finishes speaking, the police arrive and rescue Michael. Sofia, devastated by Santo's actions, breaks down in tears. He was the only family she had left, and now he was walking straight into danger. Meanwhile, Santo reaches Don Angelo's mansion. Moving stealthily, he eliminates his men one by one and makes his way inside. Angelo is sitting there, waiting for him. Without a word, Santo grabs a rope and strangles him to death. With Angelo's lifeless body on the ground, Santo turns to leave. But outside, military forces are already waiting. The moment Santo makes a move, they open fire, shooting him on the spot. And just like that, Santo's life comes to an end. 6 months later, Sofia is being held in juvenile detention. The authorities have decided that she will be released once she turns 19, ending her sentence. One day, Michael visits her in prison. He offers her a deal. "Settle your life. I'll give you all the money you need." He slides his card across the table. "Our feud is over now." But Sofia looks him straight in the eyes and refuses. Outside, Michael meets Ferrario and gives him an order. As soon as she's released, kill her. The day finally arrives. Sofia is set to walk free, but instead of staying low, she disappears without a trace. She heads straight to Michael's office, where he greets her with a smirk. "We could do something big together," she says. Michael leans back in his chair. "And how exactly can I help you?" Without hesitation, Sofia pulls out a knife and plunges it into his chest. As Michael gasps for breath, she leans in and whispers, "This war isn't over yet."